Dailu and Thane wanted to talk, so I think we should do the Dailu-Thane conversation.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so that evening, Dailu would first go around the cabin and make sure like they're not being overheard, cast detect thoughts, let's do a sweep, and then go to Ryoshi Fang's private liquor supply and pour an adult beverage, and one for each of them, and offer it to Thane, and then sort of just like pull him to sit down and take one of his hands and be like, while we were in Kronos, I went and found your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were there in the Shadowfell, so that tells you something.
Sorry, did you say my parents were in the Shadowfell?
Yeah.
Does that mean that they're plant people then?
I don't think so. Not everyone was. Some people were just wandering around. They seemed normal. There were folks patrolling for Althen who were, they looked different. They looked distorted. We think those were the people who returned. Your folks just seemed like people, or part of people. They were...
Does that mean they're dead?
I think so. I don't want to give you false hope, and I don't want to say no for sure they're gone, but it seemed to me like the part of them that was still there was just part of them.
I mean, I can't say I'm super surprised given what happened in the whole Torchline.
Yeah.
So, there's that. It's, interesting to hear it outright, but I guess, again, not super new news.
Yeah. She looks so sad. Like, she's really trying to speak, but, like, it's just like... most of the spirits in the city were just sort of saying the names of the people they cared about. That's how I found them. They were calling out for you. So I went and I told them that you were okay and that you were safe. And they didn't really talk much, but they seemed to be comforted by that.
So they did hear you, and like you could interact with them?
Yeah, they were in your house, your old place, I think.
Thank you, Dailu.
Of course.
You know what? I'm just glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back. And maybe if we do go back to the Shadowfell, there'll be more that we can do for them, or help them move on or something. I don't know. I felt terrible just leaving them there.
I mean, there wasn't much you could do.
But maybe there will be in the future. I don't know. That place was horrible. I don't think that's probably much of a surprise either.
Yep.
But everyone there was pretty miserable and scared. And I feel like if we can't bring them back, then at least we have to do something. Send them off somewhere better than that.
Jared,
I'm getting more bold in my ideas.
Jared, can you remind me what you said about the Shadowfell? Is that where souls generally go after death, or is that the like in between, like something weird happened?
It's the place where things go if something went wrong. If in the process of death something is separated from itself in a way that it shouldn't be, or
Okay.
that doesn't necessarily mean that they died in an unnatural way. There are powers in the Shadowfell that ensnare souls sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks.
But it is not the place that you go when you die.
Yeah. Okay, then yeah, at that it'd be like, yeah, we should see if. I mean, I'll admit I don't think I want to go there, but if we find ourselves there, yeah, doing something for them would be nice, or if we can do something for them there from here, you know.
If nicer. Yeah. Look, I ain't hankering to go back, but it does feel like we got some unfinished business over there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
Yeah, well, she hugs him anyway.
Oh. Thane hugs back.
All right. I'm going to say that time is going to move forward.
I'm also going to be right back. I'm going to wrestle my cat.
Yeah, let me know when everyone's back before we reconvene.
Well, while we're waiting, actually, is it cool if I do a thing since we're waiting anyways?
Sure.
Vane and any of the Frost Daggers that are there, I would go up to you and it's like, I think I figured something out while we were in the other plane, and I just have to show somebody because I think it's going to be really cool and I haven't tried it yet. Come out with me onto the deck of the ship.
Vane calls
Yeah.
over someone to fill the role of the first mate when he's it's like, all right, you direct these people, and then he's all right.
Okay. I'm gonna go up to the. I'll go up to the back of the ship so that it is leaving me and I don't jump and then it pushes into it just in case I explode. All right. Watch. And I'm gonna jump off backwards and I'm gonna cast my new spell. Jared.
Yep.
So wild magic first, I assume, because this might just immediately flop.
Yep.
All right.
And this is how...
Okay. And this is gonna make it look so much more badass. Okay. You see me fly. You see me kind of swan dive off the back of my ship, off the back of the ship. Sorry. And as I'm about to hit the water, you see a pair of wings explode out from my back, and hi, Mango.
That's super cool.
Was she down?
But as I'm about to hit the water, a pair of wings explode out from my back, and I take off and I start flying after the ship and kind of looping around. And it's like white feathered wings that kind of fade to blue at the tips. And I land, and there's also a third eye on my forehead, which Jared is the wild magic, not the spell. And I'm just kind of hovering there. I can fucking fly now, you guys.
So you became an angel in the Shadowfell. This is also
figured out-
concerning to me.
I figured out how to do this. This is this is planar stuff. But
I'm going to say, can I describe the necklace part of this? Because I think
sure, if it's visible, yeah.
it's going to be very apparent. I'm going to say while you're casting the spell. What you notice is that one of the pieces of jewelry that Orin took is now glowing with a symbol that I'm going to say Vane recognizes as one of the runes of the Shadowfell.
What now?
If Daily walks on board, you would see Orin had big wings coming out the back of his back and is kind of floating above the ground, flapping his wings and flying.
Now I feel like I'm the one having a weird dream.
Vane,
Just because we have a hard cutoff coming in an hour and 20 minutes, I'm gonna move time forward. This is
no worries.
I want to hear some more things.
Go for it.
Okay. Everyone can have their imagined reactions to this. Okay, so time is rolling forward. Before the next major event, 5 more days are going to pass. The downtime is continuing as we described, so most of you are spending quite a bit of time with Winter and each other in the research with Winter.
Did Sato find a book? Or no?
I'm gonna get you, Sato.
Okay.
After 5 days, the training, the discussion with Winter turns to Winter has a proposal, and she wants to run a little bit of an experiment. It's going to require some items of value, some gemstones from among the treasure you've collected. So someone will have to volunteer 150 gold worth of treasure if they have that.
Is it alright if I just mark up 150 gold? Or
yes, because there have been plenty of times that we've converted treasure to gold on the fly.
okay,
so I've been assuming
we'll do that immediately without hesitation.
Okay, so the little experiment that she runs burns through that treasure, and she's reading in some basically a lens that she has set up to look through as this magical reaction burns through these materials. And she's doing this on Black Razor's box. She's like set this up.
That makes me nervous.
Would anyone attempt to stop her?
Yes.
Okay. She would try to reassure you that what she's doing is just testing a reaction, that it can't possibly affect the contents of the box.
Must it occur on this box?
She says, unless there's a way to remove the ring from the box, this must be done this way.
Oh, I see. Yes. Then carry on, I suppose.
Okay. So she burns through these materials, and she asks to speak to the 6 of you back in private afterwards. She says, I want to be very clear about what I'm telling you. It is merely what I believe to be the practical fact of our situation and not advice about what we should do. I believe, with the ring back in the prime material plane, if someone were to be wearing the ring, and if that person were of sufficient strength of will, and that person were to perish in a natural way, their soul would likely take Epoch's place in whatever Epoch has become, and Epoch's soul would move on to the place beyond, a place where they would be no threat to anyone.
When you say a natural way, does that preclude stabbing?
No, the stabbing would be one of the natural ways. I meant to preclude the effect of the weapon in the box, which you've described as perhaps a bit more extreme. That would introduce a variable that I could not predict. In fact, any of your weapons may introduce a similar variable. But
so you're saying
a mundane weapon would be the cleanest.
You're saying you need to do some sort of enchantment with this, or you're saying just normally?
I'm saying I did not have confidence that that would be the case given how you described Epoch's state until the research I have done. There is another option. We could attempt to change the enchantment on the ring so that it reaches through the planes and destroys Epoch's soul without anyone dying while wearing it. This type of enchantment is far beyond what is currently on the ring. To destroy a soul as the primary purpose is not as simple as what it does now. A thing like this, I would be happy to devote the required time to do it. Vane, Oren, you know enough about this type of magic that you could assist me. From my academy days, I would compare this to the major projects of a tenured professor. The three of us together could work on this for a year, 2 years, 3, and we might in that time find success. But on a shorter timeline, no.
I may be able to
Also,
simplify this somewhat. I have fortunately not had to do this with any of you yet, but I believe that I can pull someone back from death as long as I do it immediately.
could you pull Epic back from death?
Oh no, that ship has sailed, as it were. But if someone has died in, let's say, the last minute, I should be able to restore them to life.
If you can give your word, I'm willing to fill that role.
Hold on.
Oh,
Winter. Are you familiar enough with divine magic to know if the ring would supersede that ability?
I
that's
believe
the question.
I believe the ring by itself would not, but if this person is not just, if Epochs were not acting in this middle capacity in the Shadowfell, someone wearing this ring would pass on but have the connection to the ring. And I would believe in that normal situation, that person could be revived as Vinaya describes. What is happening now is something far stronger. I believe from the experiment we ran today that some soul must fill that purpose. I do not believe you could so easily pull that person back. This person is not going to the place where your magic reaches.
I just need to clarify what Winter said throughout all this real quick. You're saying Winter says if someone's wearing the ring and dies, they will take Epic's place and Epic's soul will move on.
They said someone of sufficient will
Okay.
to do that, yeah.
And if that happened, you're saying Vinaya will not be able to resurrect them in whatever way this is.
That is Winter's belief.
Presumably. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
They would be actually taking that place.
Scouts out.
Yeah, Scout puts on the ring and slits their throat.
Scout says, not me, I'm not doing it. See ya. Welcome back.
Mercy.
I'm
I
not
mean,
entirely
that
sure.
was our... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm not entirely sure that Sato would volunteer for this just because it seems counter to her desired goal in life.
Is that living?
No. It's the pursuit of becoming one with a weapon, right? So if I die for a ring, it just seems counter to what she.
A ring can be a weapon. No, you're good. Right?
Brass
Yeah.
knuckles.
Well, what was the first thing she said she could do? But besides, like, was it we can maybe destroy Epic, but it would take forever, or someone could get killed in the ring and boot them out? Like those
Yeah,
are the two
Those
things.
are the
Someone
two
strong
things.
of will.
Someone strong of will. Yeah, those are the two things she knows.
I mean, if that's the route we're gonna go, that'll be me. But that was Plan A originally.
Yep.
I
I
don't
still
want
don't
anyone
think.
to die for this.
I still don't think you should get the ring. Sorry. With that favor thing that we talked about.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, but if I die, I'm dead. The deal was predicated on that. If I don't fulfill the deal, she kills me, and if I'm dead, I would imagine that meets that condition preemptively, and the deal is no longer available.
I suppose you would have died, but it sounds like from Winter's description that you effectively then become the thing that is sapping the God of Rhodes' power.
That is how it sounds that things would play out. This aspect of something must fill the void. There is a void that Epic is attempting to fill, and it sounds that those are more inextricably linked than we thought.
I'm gonna say something that look, I know I don't know about magic stuff, but I just want everyone to think about it. Can we put the ring on the King of Rhodes' finger somehow?
I mean,
No.
it's already dead.
Dead-ish.
Dead-ish. I mean, is the King of Rhodes capable of attuning to a magic item?
I don't
It
think.
was the
It does not
sky. We
require
can't put a
attunement.
ring on it.
Yeah, I don't
He
think.
was. We're pitching this wrong. It wasn't like his corpse was there. His corpse was the stars. Like, we could see him, but it was the stars.
I'm having trouble envisioning this.
So was I, and I was looking at it. Like, it's... Ring is not going to go on.
Out of character. The thing that I kept seeing sort of in my head when you first described that was like in a video game when there's like a bug with the wrong texture being applied to the skybox, and it's like some characters like texture just stretched out all through the sky. Like, that's kind of what I kept seeing.
I had imagined it, if you're familiar with the treatment they use for the Nyx in Theros. I'll find a good picture.
It just seems like if we want this sort of loop to finish, it'd be better to just find a way to.
Your idea would work if the King of Rhodes was still alive, right?
That's sort of what's got us into this position in the first place.
It's the corpse of a god, and the god is dead. Epic is technically still alive in some form, right? That's why he's able to draw that power out.
Yeah, but the King of Rhodes is there too. He didn't move on. He's in the Shadowfell too.
Something
Is he
that we
alive?
know about the Shadowfell is not simply capture the soul or some portion of it. It can be other things. What remains of the God of Road there may not have anything to do with their soul.
Right, because Epic is a special case for having the ability to do this in the first place.
He was talking. He was giving advice to travelers.
Wait, the
King
God of
of-
Rhodes was?
How corporeal was he?
Well, he was the sky, Vinaya.
Oh, I thought when you said he, I thought that was Epic.
The King of
I
Rhodes
know.
was speaking to you?
King of Rhodes
Lol.
was communicating.
I mean, he wasn't speaking to us. It sounded to me like it was signals blasting out, but it wasn't. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It wasn't.
Well, from the way you're describing it, all these people, all these half souls and whatnot, were doing the last thing that they were possibly doing while still themselves in the Shadowfell. So
Mhm.
possibly
Yeah.
what the God of Rhodes is doing is whatever it was doing.
I mean, the
when it was
last
still
thing he
alive.
was trying to do was punch us.
That was an
suppose a god
avatar.
probably, yeah, an avatar. Gods should be probably a little bored of that.
I'm going to set the target again that in 10 minutes we know
Okay.
what the shift to downtime activities are.
Winter is destroying the ring out. Do you know what that would do?
You asked how to destroy Epic.
That's fair.
Sorry, Jared. What did you say you want an answer to in 10 minutes?
What people are shifting to in terms of their downtime activities for the rest of the voyage.
Okay.
Because these long-term conversations can continue as time moves forward, but I just want to know what people are doing every day.
How do you all feel about shifting our research for the next chunk of however long to seeing if we can figure out what destroying the ring would do, and know that we now have an option of how to get rid of Epic, but that involves killing one of us and probably shouldn't be plan A.
Very
But
well.
seeing what destroying the ring would do. Is anybody against that?
Nope.
That's fine with me.
Nope.
I'm sorry, I just read something completely horrible. Tabletop Simulator now supports translations for all 29 languages supported by Steam. They use Google Translate to do this! What the fuck? What the fuck? This is the worst thing I've ever read! Holy shit, this is bad! Oh my god, what a nightmare! Oh my
That's
god.
gonna be great.
Why would they do this?
Google Translate, of course, famously translated a bunch of things falsely into Bible passages because they had trained the algorithm on a Bible because it was the only thing that they had available for that language.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
no!
fucking useless. Do not use Google Translate.
I'm sorry, guys, but in my last job, I actually had to, because we weren't going to hire
Sure.
translators. So yeah, we use Google Translate to respond to customer service messages.
Oh,
I actually have had to
no.
use it to at least interpret. A
Well,
Like,
prayer.
both
like,
of you have
like,
told
you
your
can use it
customers to worship Jesus Christ. As
Yeah, I mean, and I will do this sometimes. Like, I will use it if I'm not sure about something to like, kind of see, just to guess and like see how far off. But to just use it for the text that you put in a published product,
Yeah.
without, oh my fuck,
That-
All right, let's get back on track.
Back to Torchline.
Sorry, this, oh my god.
So, Vinaya, how do you feel about shifting research to destroying the ring and having one of us die as a backup plan?
I don't feel very good about that backup plan. So yes, I'm quite happy to look for ways to avert that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a backup plan.
So then that gives Jared the answer, right?
Yes.
Or
Partially, I want to update the other group who've been doing their own research. So Vinaya and Sato, who have both been reading the books from Kincaid's library. The thing that you came across so far is there's a lot of stories in these books. Some of them are very dense. Sometimes you've gone over them multiple times because you feel like there's meaning in them that might be eluding you. And Kincaid's notes sometimes refer to things that you don't understand, so you go digging through trying to figure out like what did he mean by that. But there's one story over the last 5 days that the two of you have come across that stood out. The Fey Prince Stormsail in this story created a gift of a magical staff that would grow beautiful plants but would only work on the shore of the ocean. This staff was meant to be a curse to torture the people who bore it, that they would become obsessed with this place between land and the ocean, and they would never return home, but also never truly depart. They would be trapped on this border. The story ends, at least in this version, and Kincaid's notes say that there are other versions of this story, when one of the bearers of this staff grows to appreciate the wildlife and the natural world of the shoreline, that they become a powerful druid themselves and command creatures of land and sea along the shore, and eventually grow so powerful that their own druidic magic rivals that of Stormsail, and they are able to defeat the prince in single combat. Kincaid notes that this type of story is emblematic of certain Fey themes, but it's not clear to you exactly which themes Kincaid is referring to yet. You could continue to research this, or you could turn your attention elsewhere.
I'm intrigued, at least by the mention of druidic magic.
I'm intrigued by the staff itself, but it seems to be referencing history on some level.
It's hard to tell in these stories how much they are history and how much they are myth, which Kincaid's notes would also indicate. But that is something you could target your research on.
Okay, yeah. I would probably look for either more references about the staff itself or more references about the story elsewhere in the books. If there's a different version, what are the differences? And mention of storm sail somewhere else in history.
Sure. Okay, so both of you are going to continue pulling on this thread.
Yeah, I think so.
All
I
right,
think
and the
Tyler's gonna go rogue at this point and start, to the extent possible with the materials we have, just casually looking for references to bringing gods back to life.
sorry, Dilu's trying to research what?
Bringing gods to life, killing gods, anything to do with gods and their states of being, powerful entities.
Dilu's
etc.,
looking for
etc.
religion.
Yeah, in all the wrong places.
And so then I assume Thane is still sticking with Dilu.
Yes.
And Vayne, Winter, and Orin are going to switch their research to destroying the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you good with time moving forward again? Okay.
Yeah.
The research you've all embarked on at this point is much deeper. The journey is continuing. A week passes. 2 weeks pass. You are not sure that you are getting closer to your goals, any of you. You are learning a lot about your topics, but between Winter's books, the books from Kincaid's Shadowfell library, and I assume if it came up, turning to Vinaya's book, perhaps for your reading, Dilu, there's quite a lot to go through, and some days managing the storm takes everything that you have and you just crash in your bunks and don't get any research in. On the night of day 30 at sea, so this is 20 days after this check-in, I would like the night shift to place themselves somewhere on deck where they believe they would be working.
Gotcha.
While they do that, Jared, I have a question that I should have asked a long time ago. For my infiltration expertise,
Yep.
which is the getting new roles,
Yep.
Is that something that I just kind of automatically can do while doing all this other stuff, or does that have to be my downtime activity?
I'm gonna say because it's your feature that you can do it sort of ambiently. That you are the thing that you are adept at is doing that in the time between everyone else working. So yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Especially since you don't have a target for research in this, that you're just hanging out with Dilu.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Did
think
the
Vayne would
Forge Bunny-
be up on the quarterdeck there.
Okay, please make sure you're on. I know this doesn't have the grid snap, but please make sure you're in a single square.
Oh.
Ah,
Does
I
does
can't. Okay.
does the Forge Bunny still have weapons or no?
Yep, all the weapons have been repaired.
Okay.
That's going to go for the sleeping people as well. Please make sure you're clearly on a square. Okay, one moment. Switching my references here. I'll make sure I do this right. Okay. So here's how this is going to go. First, Vane, give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Okie doke. One moment.
Actually, all three of you. Sorry, Vane, Vinaya, and Sato. Please, all of you, give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Oof.
Sato,
Hmm.
Wow.
Killing
So
it.
good.
you spot something out of the corner of your eye for a split second, right here. I'm pinging.
Mm-hmm.
You see what looks like a creature who is easily 8 feet tall. Doesn't match the height of anyone else on the ship. They're horribly tall. But when you focus on where you saw them, they've disappeared.
Hmm. God damn it, Dane. I'm going. Well, since Vane is near me, like just above deck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna quickly, because I know where he is, because we're on the night shift. I jump up and fly up real quick and let Vane, just floating in the air, not like changing my
Yeah.
position. Vane, there's something here. And then I use Whelm to detect good and evil.
Mm.
Okay, Vane
Do
would
I
then start
Any of
barking
this?
orders.
Yeah, Vinaya, you hear this. What were you saying, Vane?
Vane's gonna start barking orders. Intruder on the ship, wake the rest of the crew, tell them to be on the lookout. Sato, what did you see?
Hang on. Vinaya, what's your reaction within that same time frame?
I would like to use Divine Sense.
It's the text of Divine Sense. Oh,
I just
thank
pasted it
you.
in the chat.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah. I know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover. Yeah.
You do not pick up on anything right now. So
Okay.
if something is here, it is now behind total cover. At this same moment,
Oh, detect good and evil doesn't catch anything.
sorry,
Whelm's detect good and evil doesn't detect anything.
sorry, there's a lot of things going on in the same time frame. Detect
okay.
good and evil. I'm going to say this is going to take another second for you to put up because you spent your initial reaction talking to Vane. So I
Okay.
will get to you in a moment, but something else happens first.
Okay.
Dailu, Riffraff is talking to you in your sleep.
Nice.
You hear Riffraff going, Dailu, wake up,
Riff.
Dailu,
Okay.
the fuck out of bed,
What?
Dailu,
Okay. Okay.
pick me up.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
We've got a
Okay.
fucking
Okay.
ghost to kill.
Okay.
Dailu.
Okay. 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 Gets up.
Okay. Oren?
Yeah.
Wave is talking to you in your sleep.
Right.
Oren, awaken.
Up. I grab him. I'm out the door. Yeah. What?
Okay.
What?
Show off.
So don't move yourself yet. But we'll say for this round you've gotten out of bed.
Okay.
Oren, something is on the ship. It's below us.
All right. I would, as soon as I can, I kick myself out the door and yell, "It's below decks!" and start running that direction.
Okay. So here's how this is going to play out. Vane is shouting his orders above deck. Oren, you come out of your room so you can place yourself right at the door. Dailu, were you also leaving the room or were you waking Thane?
She would run towards the door, and be like shouting at Thane, but she wouldn't stop specifically to wake him up.
All right.
'cause he's-
Place yourself on the far side of Thane, between Thane and Sato, if you don't mind.
like
Yeah, perfect. That's
there?
perfect.
Yeah.
At the same time that Vane is shouting orders and Oren bursts out and says, "It's below decks." Sato, you sense it with your beyond good and evil, with your detect good and evil. that you also pick up on something being below decks, and then it blinks away, and just after you lose your detection on it, it
Oh,
appears.
great.
It's huge.
Wow,
It-
what the fuck?
Oh,
It is.
Right.
It is actually large.
It's shrinking. We're fine.
No, it's not. It's this big.
It's like Orin.